Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Gina Carano, this lawsuit, and they're speculating here in the Business Insider that they're going to call on Pedro Pascal and Bear Grylls to testify, as well as Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, possibly.
I'm sure they're going to.
Yeah.
A discovery is going to be fascinating.
Yeah,
if we get told.
What
anything.
We get told, yeah. Yeah, I could just see the sketches, the court sketches. You know, they're not going to allow anybody in the courtroom. But yeah, this is not good news for Disney because, you know, if they subpoena these guys and they have to tell the truth under oath, a lot of things might come out. And then there's also discovery, all the inter-office emails, any communication related to Gina Carano. It might open up a can of worms in regards to their practices, their DEI practices. I mean, we have no idea how far down the rabbit hole this is going to go, which is why Disney did not want it to proceed. Because it's going to look very, very bad.
Yes.
But let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So yeah, this would be a very bad look, as they like to say, if right before the Fantastic Four movie comes out, Pedro Pascal has to testify.
And now, again, I want to point out, and I've shown the clip several times, but Pedro Pascal has made several political posts invoking the Holocaust more than once, and the Nazi flag and things like that. And it was okay when he did it. I'm just saying, and then not only that, but he got rewarded by not only being in Star Wars, but then he got cast for Marvel as well.
Right, and I think he's going to have a pretty significant role in the MCU as Reed Richards. So it does show the double standard, right? And that's kind of the point of this whole thing is like, how come other actors can give their hot takes online?
Oh man.
Right, all men who happen to be all men.
But let's be honest here. It's not even about the fact that they're men, even though I think she's going to use that because Disney's going on about how diverse they are. So, we are about diversity and promoting women and minorities, and then let everybody else say something except for women. But the real fact of the matter is Gina Carano's opinions tend to lean more conservative, and Pedro Pascal's lean more, liberal, far left.
Right.
And that's the difference. Let's be honest here.
Yes. If the company agrees with you, you're allowed to say whatever you want to. The smartest thing to do, and this is where Disney said that they had a policy or whatever, and this shoots down that argument. The smartest thing to do would be like, hey, you know what? We don't want any of our celebrities out there giving hot takes, political hot takes, while you're working for Disney, one way or the other, because you're going to alienate our potential audience. And that is, if we're going to pay you millions and millions of dollars to hopefully make us money, please don't go out there and start shit and cost us money. And
I mentioned that in the video I did by myself about Gina Carano's lawsuit. And I said, here's the thing. It's like, if you had that in place, you have to evenly enforce it. You can't say, oh, well, you were supposed to have these guidelines, but only people that lean this way or people that, don't have a penis are the ones who aren't allowed, who will be punished and aren't allowed to say things,
I think
it's not okay.
I think that's one of the new genders, people who don't have a penis. There's a penis-free flag out there, too.
Is there?
Yeah. Yes.
That implies there's a penis flag. So anyway.
Well, there might be.
Continue.
I'm sure there are penis flags out there. Yeah, I'm sure you can buy them on Amazon.
As long as they're every color. Okay, continue.
Business Insider. Actor Gina Carano wants Pedro Pascal and Bear Grylls to testify in her case against Disney over her Mandalorian role. Now, to be fair, Pedro Pascal is on good terms with her.
And last we heard,
Yeah, last we heard that they get along fine. And that's the thing. You can have different opinions.
Yes, and they get along fine. But are they going to get along fine if she tries to drag him into court? But they're going to have to because, he's one telling her that she needs to put her pronouns in her bios to leave her alone. And he had examples of things he said and did that he was allowed to get away with.
Right. I mean, this is when he was trying to give her advice, apparently. We'll go out to this article after we talk about, what's going on currently. But he told her to put hashtag trans rights in her feed just to shut these people up. I'm like, how sad is that you have to put the right hashtag in your feed just to get people to leave you alone?
And let's be honest here. The entire reason they went after her in the first place was because they decided that Cara Dune was trans representation. There was never any indication that was the case.
No, they're like, but she's a big, strong woman, so obviously.
Right. And now they decided that she was their representation, so then the actress had to be the representation too, and the actress declined. Then they started the attacks, the hate mob, the trying to cancel her hashtag and all that stuff, because she just basically told the hate mob no, because they had decided.
Right.
She didn't have a say in it.
All right, so this is coming from Business Insider. Pedro Pascal, Bear Grylls, and former Disney CEO Bob Chapek are among the big names who could be forced to testify in Gina Carano's ongoing lawsuit. Yeah, that would be crazy. Carano included their names among a list of potential witnesses for her case, which accused Disney of violating California labor law by booting her from the flagship Disney Plus show The Mandalorian because of her personal views. So they talked about this. Disney said Carano would not return to the show. Now, here's the thing. There's Disney's account. This is where it's going to get tricky. They said Carano was never actually fired. They said her character was no longer included in Star Wars, and that the company has a First Amendment right to disassociate itself from her political viewpoints. Yes, but that's not, they didn't just say, hey, yeah, there are no current plans for Cara Dune to return, or, Cara Dune died on the way back to her home planet, or anything like that. It was, she said abhorrent things.
I'm confused though. If that's her new stance, they were saying before that her abhorrent viewpoints didn't represent them. That's why they got rid of her, because they didn't agree with her abhorrent viewpoints. So which is it? You fired her for abhorrent viewpoints, or she was never fired? Which one is it, Disney? And then when this one gets shot down, what's your next excuse?
They don't have an excuse. And I don't think there's going to be a settlement, because my understanding is her and Elon Musk, they want to actually take Disney to the mat. They want them to have to come out and say it.
And furthermore, she had to go through all that, put on the spot, and they wanted her to go talk to these different groups and have these retrainings and all that for everything she said. Whether they fired her or not, they put her through a bunch of punishments and retrainings. They did not put the male stars through when they said stuff politically. So whether they fired her or not, it was still discrimination. Yeah. Because they treated her in a way different than they treated the other actors. They called her abhorrent when she made comments that are similar to things that Pedro Pascal has posted or Mark Ruffalo has posted. Mark Hamill doesn't shut up. But that was all okay. Right. There is a double standard. We didn't actually fire her. No.
And that's the point of the lawsuit, is to show the double standard. Again, if Disney consistently would terminate people for their political viewpoints, regardless of which side of the aisle they're on. And they said they have a policy, and some companies do have a policy. They're basically like, hey, if you're going to work for us, we're going to give you millions of dollars. You're going to shut up and let us continue to make millions of dollars. But it only works on one side of the aisle, because we've seen so many MCU stars. And then you have poor Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt doesn't say anything. And because he doesn't say anything and he tries to stay out of it, they go after him too.
Well, then poor Zoe Saldana, all she said was, that he didn't say what he was made a joke and they took it wrong. And she's like, no, he's a good person. And then they turn on her and start calling her racist names. The same people, tolerant people. Yeah, they're like, all the white supremacists, you're white supremacists. Then they start calling her the N-word. I'm like, what the frick? A thing that looks like a little fuzzy animal with a mask. Yeah. Rocket adjacent. Yeah, it was horrible. They had all kinds of horrible tweets out there. I would never say any of those things.
But back to what you're saying, like, if they hadn't made such a big damn deal, and I think it was probably a rogue social media manager who was like dancing on the grave, like, yeah, we're never going to call Cara Dune back because you said abhorrent things and Lucasfilm doesn't stand for this shit. Yeah, get out here, Gina Carano, neater. Because it happened. It was so weird how it happened. She didn't get any notification. She found out from social media, she found out from the press that they weren't going to bring the character back because whoever was running that Twitter account was, tap dancing in the end zone. And that is what's going to cost Disney. If they just said, hey, you were choosing not to work with her and it was on the down low, but then they made that big statement, which probably cost her other opportunities because she wound up having to work with like the Daily Wire. It's not like she's going across, working on like major motion pictures for other studios or whatever. Now, I believe, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that this was a Lucasfilm specific thing. And I think that like, if it didn't blow up the way that it blew up, that she probably could have worked for other parts of Disney. Whether or not she'd want to.
But Disney tripled down on it at this point. So
they did. Yeah, it's because Kathleen Kennedy, called in her people. But yeah, this is what's really interesting about this. So they said, U.S. District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett, an appointee of Joe Biden, says that, denied Disney's motion to dismiss the case.
Because, here's the thing people don't realize, especially the young people. If you have a job, you need to do your job, regardless of how you lean politically. So even if you lean left or you're appointed by a Democratic president, that doesn't mean you just automatically let anybody that leans left through. That's not how it works in the real world. The real world is you look at the facts and you base your, judgment on said facts. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. Yeah. They said that doesn't make the company immune to California's anti-discrimination laws, because it is still discrimination. I mean, there are people who are, appointed attorneys, public defenders, defending people that they're like 99% sure committed the crime, but it's their job to do the best job they can do to defend this person. I mean, that's the thing. And you got to look at, professionally, it's your job. Mm-hmm. So regardless of whether or not Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett agrees with the things that Gina Carano said, she did her job and was like, yeah, this isn't legal. You can't do that. Carano's request for testimony was included in a joint filing on Friday. Lawyers for Disney and Carano proposed a September 25th, 2025 trial date. So we're more than a year out.
Oh, yeah, that stuff takes forever. That is what it is.
She wants the Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm publicist Lynn Hale to testify along with Bob Chapek, Pedro Pascal, and Bear Grylls. And she said, Pascal spoke with her about transgender rights during the fire. So basically told her, like, shut up, put hashtag trans rights in your feed, and, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Until they find somebody else.
And I mean, some people would have done it just to shut them up. But that wouldn't have ever been enough. It would have been, well, you still need your pronouns in your bio. And then it's like, well, you need to identify differently because we said so or whatever, Yeah,
literally, he said, this is what Carano said. He was telling me, just put trans rights in your feed, do it, and they'll leave you alone. I'm like, well, it's like what? Put the marker on your door so they pass you over to have, it's
yeah,
like,
basically, yeah.
Like Twitter or hate mob Passover or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is ridiculous. This is, it shouldn't be this way. And what she said was tame. I mean, really, it was very tame compared to what other left-leaning celebrities have said. I mean, there are people that were calling for people to be arrested, for delighting in the attempt on Trump, and it was like, and that's cool. You're allowed to do that and you're still going to get work. But by God, if you say that you shouldn't denigrate your neighbors.
Yeah, I know. How dare you?
How freaking dare you?
So she said that she didn't put the hashtag in because it's not her style to put a hashtag in anything. I don't put like hashtag Trump's rights. I just don't use, she doesn't use hashtags that often. And the actor said she wasn't trying to insult transgender community, noting she thought it was cute like R2-D2 when she put
the beep boop bop.
Yeah. Beep. And honestly, when I saw that, I didn't think that was, I think it was because she put the backslashes. If she just put dashes or something, I think that, my first thought wasn't she was making fun of pronouns. I just thought she was being like, Star Wars.
I thought she was doing either. The NPC meme, like you guys are being, beep boop bop. You're a bunch of freaking robots.
That's what like that, a robot, some robot related something. Yeah, I did not think it was a pronoun joke. I mean, I guess if she hadn't used backslashes, maybe, I don't know.
Well, she might have did it. I mean, you get pressed enough, you're going to fight back. And she's a fighter.
If it was me, I would have done it just to be a bitch. But that's, my first thought when she did it wasn't that she was being a bitch. I would have done it just to be a bitch.
If she was working anywhere else, I don't think this would have happened.
No.
I think it would have been like... It would have been
like, when they try to call people's places of work to get them fired, they usually laugh at them and hang up.
Oh my God, they do that. They seriously do that. Like these people, they get ass mad. If somebody makes a video they don't like, they will literally call up a place of work. I was actually talking to, I'm not going to say who it is, but I was talking to a friend of mine who said that they actually have gotten phone calls at their place of work, and the people on the phone, like the messages that were left, just sound like rambling, like you took my stapler. You moved my, you moved my stapler. Like obviously this person is not like on the level. This person does not function well in society, but they have no problem picking up the phone for social justice and leaving a voicemail, probably at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when they know nobody's giving it.
And moved on.
Yeah, exactly. They laughed at and moved on.
Yeah. So then they're talking about somebody who asked her what she was doing, why are they mad at her, and then and then she said because she put beep bop boop in her bio. She even said, like, I sent them the tweet several times where she said that she's against bullying and she stands with them 100%, you know, and the fact that she's against bullying if that's what they have to do, that she supports them. That's right. You know, she didn't need to go put a hashtag to. She basically said the same thing. I don't know what the big deal. She said she doesn't put them in her bio because she doesn't feel comfortable, and you don't have to. You shouldn't have to say your pronouns if you don't want to. So if you want to, then by all means, though.
Right. So here's my takeaway from this, though, is if you got Pedro Pascal saying just use this hashtag and they leave you alone, if this is common knowledge in Hollywood, is everybody just saying it for lip service so people leave them alone? Like they don't actually believe it.
Yes, 100%.
They don't actually believe it.
That's what I think is going on. They just do it to shut everybody up. Like, because to be fair, you know, if I was in her position, I might have just done it too, just so I didn't have to deal with these idiots.
We deal with enough idiots. We have to deal
I'm not, you know, it wasn't going to cost me a Star Wars job, you know?
Yeah.
And all her co-stars have nothing but wonderful things to say about her. Everybody says she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I don't think anybody say anything negative.
She's not remotely toxic at all.
No.
Doesn't matter because the internet decided and they're forming their own headcanon of what she is and isn't.
And again, it doesn't even matter if you say nothing. Like, look at the irrational hate that Chris Pratt gets, and he actually stays out of it. They attacked him for not going to a Biden fundraiser. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just like, I'm just staying out of politics. I'm not saying shit. It doesn't matter. If you don't use the right hashtags, they're going to come after you. And I'm like, who is actually coming after you? Is it a lot of people, or is it people with a bunch of alt accounts or bot accounts or whatever? Is it really beep boop bop? I mean, it could be, but regardless, she got gone, and there's going to be a lawsuit, and I think it's probably going to move forward. I mean, I don't think Disney's going to be able to buy their way out of this one because Elon Musk has a stake in it, and he's gunning for Bob Iger. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Gosh, it would be a real shame if he had to testify like the same week that Fantastic Four opened up or something, wouldn't it?
Well, it'll be till after that. Fantastic Four is in July. But, you know, I think it's July next year, and this is later. But,
oh, God.
I think the Fantastic Four starts opening before the next San Diego. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
Well, yeah, because they want to have things brag about, so.
I mean, it's a crappy situation the whole way around. And I mean, I'm sure she doesn't want to drag Pedro Pascal into it because if he's her friend, he might not be after that. You know what I mean? It's just, but
it's going to be up to her lawyers, though.
They all kind of just left her out there. They all will say nice things. That's not, no, let me rephrase that. A lot of her co-stars have said nice things. I've heard them say nice things. I've seen them say nice things online about her, and they don't think it was fair how she was treated. And so he did stand up for her. Pedro Pascal really didn't say much, I don't think, though. So I'm like,
no, he seems like he knows how to play the game. He's like, yeah, just use a hashtag and they'll leave you alone. I mean, this is
sad, but he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But then you have, other people like Mark Hamill that are out there like constantly talking shit about politics and stuff.
Well,
like,
Mark Hamill also did a whole thing for Biden, and we know how that turned out. So
yeah,
are we going to wrap this up?
I think we need to wrap this up. Please,
it's going to get interesting.
It is going to be very interesting.
Go ahead.
Lots of content. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.